Ever come across a story that just stops you in your tracks? One of those moments where you realize the future is unfolding right before your eyes.
Absolutely.
Well, we had that feeling big time when we started digging into the topic for this deep dive.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not just another medical advancement. This
No,
is a huge step forward for cardiac medicine.
it really is a landmark achievement, I'd say.
And at the heart of it is the incredible journey of a man in Australia.
Right.
In his 40s he was.
Mhm.
And he lived for 100 days with a fully artificial heart,
Wow, 100 days.
before he ultimately got a heart transplant.
Yeah,
It's a story that's got everyone talking.
I can imagine.
And we've been poring over all the reports, all the articles,
Break it down.
trying to understand the technology behind this BiVACOR Total Artificial Heart.
The TA8.
Yeah, we're going to call it the TAH for short.
Good idea.
And the goal here is to help you understand why this is so significant,
Right.
not just for this man, but for the future of treating severe heart failure.
Absolutely. What does it mean for everyone?
Yeah, exactly. We want to give you the essentials without overwhelming you with medical jargon.
Right. Make it clear.
So let's start with the man himself.
Right.
Now, this all happened at St. Vincent's Hospital in Sydney, Australia,
Okay.
back in November of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he received this BiVACOR Total Artificial Heart, the TAH.
The TH, right?
Now, just let that sink in for a second. 100 days,
Wow.
over 3 months, with a machine doing the work of his heart.
It's mind-blowing.
And get this, in February 2025,
Yeah.
he actually became the first person ever to be discharged from the hospital while living entirely on an artificial heart.
That's huge.
That's a major milestone,
It really shows how far things have come.
doesn't it? I mean, it's not just about keeping someone alive in the hospital anymore.
No, not at all.
It's about giving them some semblance of a normal life while they wait for a transplant.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what happened here.
Yeah.
Early March 2025, he received a donor heart.
Great.
And as far as we know, he's recovering well.
A fantastic outcome.
This is a real testament to the power of this technology as a bridge to transplant.
Absolutely. A bridge to life, you could say.
So let's dive into the tech itself.
Okay.
This BiVACOR Total Artificial Heart. It was developed by an Australian bioengineer.
You mean Dr. Daniel Timms?
That's right, Dr. Daniel Tibbs.
Fascinating guy.
And his story, well, it's really quite personal. You see, Dr. Timms was inspired to create this technology after losing his own father to heart disease.
I see. That makes sense.
It's a loss that fueled a remarkable innovation.
And what an innovation it is.
Tell us, what makes the BiVACOR so different from anything that came before?
Well, it's the first fully implantable rotary blood pump
Okay.
designed to completely replace the human heart.
Fully implantable. That sounds like a big deal.
It is. It is.
Or older artificial hearts not fully inside the body.
You're right. Many weren't.
Okay.
They often relied on external parts,
Mhm.
power sources, things like that.
So they were connected through the skin.
Yeah, exactly.
And that, of course, came with risks.
Of course.
Infection being a big one, right?
A major concern. Yes.
And probably limited how much people could move around, too.
Definitely. Freedom of movement was an issue.
So this BiVACOR eliminates all that
Exactly.
because it's completely internal.
All internal. Yeah.
That must make a huge difference for the patient.
Oh, absolutely.
Comfort, reduced risk of infection.
All of that.
So how does it actually work? I hear it involves something called magnetic levitation.
You heard right.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty cutting edge stuff.
So instead of the usual pumps and valves,
The usual mechanics.
the BiVACOR uses magnets
Magnets. Yes.
to move the blood.
Think about how magnets repel each other.
Okay, yeah.
They can keep something suspended in midair without any physical contact.
Like those little magnetic levitation toys you see.
Exactly like that.
So in the BiVACOR,
There's a single moving part called a rotor,
a rope.
and it's suspended and spun by these magnetic fields.
Wow.
No friction, no wear and tear.
Now that's clever.
It's a game changer.
But what's the big advantage of this magnetic levitation thing?
Well, the main benefit is durability,
Okay.
with only one moving part and no physical contact.
Because of the magnets.
Right. The risk of mechanical failure is significantly reduced.
That's huge. Because mechanical failure was always a worry with older artificial hearts.
A major concern, yes.
So it's not just a cool tech gimmick.
No, not at all.
It's really about making the device more reliable.
More reliable, longer lasting, and safer.
And I imagine it creates a smoother blood flow as well.
Precisely.
More natural, right?
Like the real heart
Yeah.
filler on the body.
Yeah, because the blood cells aren't getting damaged as they're being pumped around.
Exactly.
That must be better for the patient's overall health, too.
Absolutely crucial.
Now, The surgery to implant this BiVACOR,
Yeah.
it was performed by a Dr. Paul Jans.
Right, a leading surgeon.
And it took about 6 hours.
6 hours.
That's a long time.
It's a complex procedure.
Replacing a human heart.
It requires a highly skilled team and meticulous precision.
And speaking of time, the BiVACOR is currently designed as a bridge to transplant.
A temporary solution?
Right, a way to keep patients alive and as healthy as possible.
Until a donor heart becomes available.
But this 100-day survival, that's way longer than anything we've seen before, right?
Much longer, yeah.
Like how much longer?
Well, previous trials in the U.S., they only managed to keep patients alive on a fully artificial heart for about 27 days.
27 days.
At most, yeah.
So this is a huge leap forward.
A major breakthrough.
It shows how much progress has been made both in the device itself
and in managing patients on these devices.
So let's zoom out for a moment.
Okay.
Look at the bigger picture here.
The global impact.
Because heart failure,
it's a global problem.
It affects millions, doesn't it?
Millions upon millions.
I read the numbers.
Over 23 million people worldwide are suffering from heart failure. That many. And the sad reality is there just aren't enough donor hearts to go around.
Right, there's a huge shortage.
It's a constant challenge.
I mean, how many transplants actually happen each year?
Globally, only about 6,000.
6,000.
And a large chunk of those are in the U.S.
Out of 23 million people.
Yeah.
It's a massive discrepancy.
A critical need for alternative solutions.
And that's why this 100-day trial is so important. It gives hope to those who might not survive the wait for a donor heart.
A glimmer of hope.
Professor Chris Hayward
from the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute.
He called this a game changer.
He did.
What makes this such a game changer, do you think?
Well, several things.
Go on.
First, the sheer survival time.
100 days?
100 days, yeah. It demonstrates a level of reliability we haven't seen before.
Right.
And then there's the fact that the patient was discharged from the hospital.
Living a somewhat normal life.
Exactly. It suggests that this technology can be integrated into a patient's daily life.
Not just stuck in a hospital bed.
Precisely.
And lastly,
it
opens up the possibility of artificial hearts becoming a more widely available solution.
For people who aren't eligible for transplants.
For whatever reason.
Right. Age or other medical conditions.
So are we looking at a future where artificial hearts are no longer a last resort?
It's looking more and more likely.
But a mainstream treatment option.
That's the direction this research is heading.
Within the next decade.
Within the next decade, yeah.
We could see a real revolution in how we treat heart failure.
It's an exciting prospect.
And what does this success mean for ongoing research in artificial hearts?
Well, it's a massive boost.
Really?
It validates the years of work that have gone into this field.
And probably attracts more funding, too.
Definitely. We know the Australian government has already invested a lot.
Like how much?
50 million Australian dollars in the Artificial Heart Frontiers program.
And that program's supporting trials of different artificial heart designs.
And multiple approaches.
So the BiVACOR is just one of many potential solutions.
It's leading the pack, though.
What makes this BiVACOR case so valuable, I think, is the real-world data it provides.
Real-world data, absolutely.
On how patients actually live with this technology.
Outside of the controlled hospital environment.
It's one thing for a device to work in a lab.
Or in a hospital bed.
But to see it functioning in someone's everyday life.
That's a whole different ballgame.
And that's what we're seeing here.
We are.
And while right now, the BiVACOR is seen as a bridge to transplant.
A temporary fix.
There's a possibility, isn't there?
Long-term possibility.
That it could become a permanent solution.
A destination therapy, as they call it.
Especially for those who aren't eligible for transplants.
For whatever reason.
That would be a real paradigm shift.
It would.
But we need more research, right?
Absolutely.
It's still early days.
This 100-day survival is encouraging.
Encouraging, but not the whole story.
We need larger trial.
More data.
To truly understand the long-term effectiveness and safety of the BiVACOR.
And compare it to traditional heart transplants.
Head-to-head comparisons.
Okay, so let's wrap this up.
Yes.
What are the key takeaways here?
Well, first and foremost, the 100-day survival.
That's remarkable.
A patient living for 100 days with the BiVACOR, a fully implantable titanium heart.
It's incredible.
And then the BiVACOR technology itself.
Yeah.
Particularly the magnetically levitated rotary pump.
That's the heart of the innovation.
A major step forward in artificial heart design.
And finally, the potential.
The potential to address this critical shortage of donor hearts.
And revolutionize how we treat severe heart failure.
It's a game changer.
It really feels like we're on the verge of some major breakthroughs.
We are.
For those of you listening, This story isn't just about technology.
It's about hope.
It offers real hope for the millions battling heart failure around the world.
Absolutely, a beacon of hope.
And as this technology evolves,
it will continue to evolve.
It raises some interesting questions.
Questions about our future.
What does it mean to live with an artificial heart?
What are the ethical implications?
How will it change our understanding of health and longevity?
These are questions we need to grapple with.
It's a fascinating and complex landscape.
A lot to think about.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
For this deep dive into the future of cardiac medicine.
A future full of promise, it seems.
Until next time,
stay curious.
and stay informed.